Hey up guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Sheffield United, where nothing really has happened between the match against Porto and the match against Chelsea, so we get to dive straight in. The only thing of note is that Cavani has taken a brief knock, but seems to be okay for the match. He's on the bench to start with anyway, of course. And just a reminder, we sit in third, 62 points. Chelsea sit in first, 65 points. Goal difference means we won't go ahead of them, even if we beat them here. However, it would definitely make things very interesting, and I did not expect at this stage of the season to be in a title fight. I'm very happy being comfortably 5 points above Manchester United in 5th. And when you look at our run-in, Tottenham in May, they're 9th. It's only this Chelsea match now, with a Man City match that follows Porto, that you'd probably regard as being danger matches. Of course, we're probably going to lose one of these other ones in here against teams that we probably shouldn't be losing to. But our run-in is relatively okay. As 7th place Everton take on 6th place Arsenal as well, just to keep that one interesting. Arsenal on 57 points as well as Manchester United. So two teams just on the cusp of 4th. Both of them have got a game in hand on 4th as well. So if they win that game in hand, the pair of them, that's 1 point behind 4th. So we are at home against Chelsea here. Now Cavani, like it says, slightly injured, will return tomorrow. Maddison is back. That's huge. Renier is available, so Renier will play. Ruggeri is available, so Ruggeri will play. Just because they're not registered for Europa League, you figure might as well play them now. So Gagliardini didn't play midweek, so he'll step in despite his recent poor performance. I might just have a word with him. Thanks, Roberto. He agrees. Greenbush is in the same boat, but also very tired. Curtis Jones is the one I would normally put in there. So Maddison's actually going to play on the left, I now realise, because he's my only backup for that left-hand side now. I would have played Palacios, but he's clearly played for the under-23s. So I think my lineup for this one, actually, I'm just going to change Junior for Adam Smith as well, because it's not really much of a downgrade there. I kind of want to keep those full backs as fresh as possible. So my lineup here would be Xhaka in goal, Ruggeri, Badiashile, Fofana. Could possibly swap Fofana for Egan. Again, it's not really much of a difference. Smith at right back, Norwood and Gagliardini in the middle, just because they'll be a little bit fresher. Maddison, Gomez and Renier on the right. And Calvert-Lewin remains up front. That Cavani injury means I have replaced him on the bench as well. But Goldrick makes the bench. Hasn't played for me all year. Was actually out in America for the first half of this. Did very well out there. I think he averaged about a 7.5 where I sent him. I think it was Philadelphia. John Egan is captain or vice captain. I can't remember which, but he takes the captain's ban today. And that could actually be crucial, having one of our actual captains on the pitch. So we line up like that, of course, as I just mentioned. Our last 5 matches, a bit patchy. 2 losses in there. There's not so much. They have Waldschmidt up front. He's started 11 games for them this year. Feels somewhat... I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to jinx it. I was about to say something that would immediately backfire. Where's he come from? Is it Milan? Freiburg. I just saw red and white. I just saw red and black stripes. Via Benfica, though. It's a somewhat different Chelsea side. Of course, they've had Coronia for a little while. Also come via Portugal, I'm pretty certain. As Renier charges at their defence, Guerrero does very well. They've got Guerrero left back, Dodo right back, Garcia in the middle, of course left on a free at the end of the first season. So only one of the 3 back line are from the current Chelsea side, which is kind of amusing. Don't know if they still have players like Chilwell and Reece James. I think they've still got Reece James. Pulisic, of course. Havertz, there. Chelsea already. Kante, naturally. Gives it to Garcia. Guerrero, back to Havertz. Werner is at the club. I just don't know where he is right now. Because Chris Wilder warned me about Werner in the pre-match build-up. As if I needed that warning. Thanks, Chris. And considering that you're 1 point from 12 right now, games that is, I'm not really certain I should be taking your advice. Now, I'll be honest, I don't really know what it is for Sheffield United right now in the real world. 1 point from 36 points in total, possible. It's not great. Is it the manager? Is it the players? Is it the fact that, Sheffield United came up and surprised people in that first half of the season in the way they played, and they've just, opposition have adapted to the way that Sheffield United play and don't let them do what they want to do anymore? Possibly that, which then does possibly shift the blame back to Chris Wilder for not altering the way he plays, as this game is thrilling. The XG almost identical by the end of it. I mean, a point's fine, I guess. 3rd v 1st. We won't be unhappy with a point. That's a very good ball, and that's a very good goal. However, Kai Havertz might just have been fractionally offside there. Being called back for offside, Kai Havertz is offside. That looked very close to being offside, says the text. I think the word offside has lost all meaning. It was very close, actually. Corona on the left having a brilliant game. Pulisic on the right having a terrible game. I don't know what's going on right now, but they need to be playing down the left if they are. Meanwhile, none of our side really doing brilliantly. Smith's coming off. Renier got thumped at some point, so Collado's going to come on. Change things up on that right-hand side. And I'm going to tell them to play down that right-hand side now. Because their left side hasn't looked great. Although Collado should have scored there possibly. There's a free kick anyway. Someone's offside. Gomez. Dodo's unhappy. He's on a 6.5. So yeah, if we play down the right, that challenges their left. I've just realised I've done that the wrong side. But we've got fresh legs on the right, so that's at the very least what we should be doing. Using those fresh legs as much as possible. Gomez bypasses whatever that player was there, and Collado's at the back post. I think Cavallou would have been offside if he'd gone for that. He didn't. Left it for Collado, or Collado, as I probably should be saying it. And it's Collado's 7th goal of the season. I know Cavallou would have been fine. Cavallou would have been fine if he'd got on to the end of that, but he didn't. And it's the reverse of what we normally see. It's normally a swinging ball from the right-hand side that goes to a person at the back post on the left. 6.3 for Gagliardini, who's been not great, again. Nor has been injured at some point. Well, in that case, I'm going to have to bring them off. Joro Hendricks on. Oh, it's 2 seconds from the end of the game. We snatched it late on, I think. That goal was a lot later than I realised. 86th minute, it was indeed. And we snatched another late goal against another good side. 88th minute against Manchester United. 86th minute against Chelsea. Well done, lads. Really good win for us. No, I don't fear complacency. Like I said, even a win doesn't take us top because of goal difference. However, it's made that top 4 there. 30 games played each. 65, 65, 63, 61. With a far better goal difference than anyone else. That just got really interesting, especially if these two teams win their game in hand and go on 60 points apiece. Leicester get 750k for Maddison playing 20 league games. Fine. Porto on Thursday, then just the mere prospect of playing Manchester City. I don't think we were undeserving, but I also don't think a draw would have been a bad result either. Because as you saw, by the end of the game, the XG was quite close. I think they had a very slight edge, but I don't think it was undeserved, Frank. I'm going to go neutral on that one. As Arsenal don't win that game in hand. So I wonder when Manchester United's game in hand it pops back in then. It happens this Wednesday with 2 preemptive other games as well. Because Newcastle are still in the FA Cup, of course, because they beat us. Edinson Cavani's left his agent. I don't know why. Narratively, I feel like he's probably just gone to his agent and gone, surely we could have done better than Sheffield. But he does want to impress me, so perhaps not. We are aggressive and clinical. 2 very clinical sides over here, Valencia and Atalanta. Norwich, by the way, Norwich are the most clinical side in the Premier League. They're not aggressive, but they're the most clinical of everyone, which I feel like is a very far cry from their performance in last season. I just thought that was really amusing. It just reminded me. I'm actually surprised Roy hasn't been sacked already. I just got asked about it in the press conference. It's March and Crystal Palace have 16 points and they've been at the bottom of the table pretty much all year. I'm very surprised they haven't sacked Roy Hodgson. 16 points from 30 is incredibly bad. They do play Newcastle, which is a massive game, which Newcastle win. They needed it. Newcastle go down. Is there anyone still at Newcastle that would improve anyone in our side? A season ago I would have said San Maximan, but actually my best left winger is on loan, so if San Maximan wants to come, he can join us. I would really enjoy managing San Maximan, actually. I want to see how good he is in this year's game. Arsenal do the business, Monaco do the business, Atalanta finish the job. We get them in the next round, by the way, if we progress here. Sporting do the business as well. Fiorentina gone. The big match, of course, alongside us. Ruggeri is not registered, that's why I played him in the first place. Against Chelsea, same with Renier. Marcus Edwards steps back in. Cavani should be fine for the bench once more. Ramsdale on the bench because it's a cup game and I can't risk that. Kaysera in for Smith. Fofana back in for Egan. Norwood, for some reason, is dead on his feet. I don't know why. Berge. Gagliardini actually had a better game against Chelsea in the end. 6.7, which is basically what Hendricks does on a week in, week out. He's just missed a 6.7. Although, season-wise, he's on a 7.04. But Gagliardini's ball-winning ability is just so good. Like, he should be insane in that role. You look at those stats, you stick it on ball winner. Look at that. 12 agility, only let down. 13 concentration, 13 marking. Fine. Everything else is 14 or higher. Most of it, 17 or higher. Norwood, I don't think is even good enough for the bench, maybe. Although I don't have any other midfielders. I could put John Fleck there, but what I'm actually going to do is bring Brewster back into the left-hand side. Ignore that. It happens when Klasnic is on there. See, it's fine now. And then stick Gomez on the bench because he can play midfield as well if he wants to. So, line up here, Xhaka, Kolasinac, Badiashile, Fofana, Kaysera, Berge, Gagliardini, Brewster, Maddison, Edwards and Calvert-Lewin. Basically the same team that played the first leg, just with Maddison and Gagliardini. the doesn't like to play together thing has vanished now they're in those two roles. So I'm hoping that is the fix for those two players going forward. It was very concerning that my favourite two midfielders didn't like playing with each other. So we line up the same way, just with two different faces in that squad from the first leg. They line up 4-4-2 again, but with Piatek starting. Pepe in the back line, the 39-year-old Pepe. It's a bold choice to have Pepe against players like Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Pepe's not massively slow, but still. Like, you'd expect most 39-year-olds to have about 4 pace. So, I mean, Pepe's done very well in that regard. Oh my god, Gagliardini just unleashes that. Very good work from Fofana there. That could have been a very dangerous break. Those two strikers on our two defenders, if they can get a break on, they could probably do us quite easily there, because our fullbacks do push up, so it is 2v2 quite often. I am slightly, attacking-wise, this overlapping ability, like, because Sarah's ball there, so good if anyone got on the end of it. But if they get the ball back and just dink it over our back two, one of those two strikers might just be able to get somewhere. That was a chance that I was not expecting to happen when it did. And we nearly scored. We hit the post. 0-0 does us fine, of course. And 0-0 is fine. A lot of their team unhappy for some reason. Pepe's booked because it's Pepe and he's 39. So he's got all that anger in a slightly slower package. Not a lot happening so far, but I'm kind of happy with not a lot happening. Romario Barrow heads that really poorly, actually, and it's Calvert-Lewin outpacing, I think it's the other defender, it's not Pepe. Should have scored. Really should have buried that one. Edwards probably should have played it short, actually, as he'd been instructed to, but chance on goal again. We are the better of the two sides here, so I might just demand more on the stroke of half-time. We've scored a goal. Ryan Brewster, who has been not particularly great over the last few games. The 6.5 he's on up to this point today as well. But it's his 10th goal of the year. It's from a free kick, but it's a sort of similar space from where he usually scores. It's usually a cross being whipped into that far post, as I said earlier, or last game. I can't remember which one it was now. And I think we're worth our goal at this stage. Things are going well, but you're capable of even better. I'm going to pump the fist with faith this time. I think I phrased that weirdly. Now it's 1-0 to Sheffield. Jim City on a 6.3. Frustrated, I think that was said he was. Sander Burge. Possibly should have had 2 or 3 at this point. I mean, the XG says 1, but we'll ignore that for the time being. I mean, that was terrible from Klasenak, the throw, but he has a chance to redeem himself by regaining possession and then taking on 2 defenders at the same time. Gives it back to Bergen in the box. Great touch by Bergen initially there. Straight out to Caicedo. Comes back to him again as Marcus Edwards has the jump sort of on the right back. Maddison arriving somewhat late. Just held his run a little bit to get only his 4th goal of the year. Now, a major injury at the start kind of meant he was a little bit slow in the first half of the season. He's done a lot better in the second half of the season so far. Yeah, just held his run, was ahead of his marker. Great little finish. Great sight from Edwards as well, of course. I do like the fact we do have an English front 4. I'm always tempted not to make a change. I might take Maddison off just because of fitness. Misaba tackle Burge. Lumps it up to the pitch. Calvert-Lewin, can he get a goal here today? Calvert-Lewin, still Calvert-Lewin. It's still Calvert-Lewin. Oh, he's missed it. If he doesn't score today, he actually falls behind on goals per game. Going into this match, I think he's 32 in 32 starts. But he's got the ball back again here. No, he hasn't. I don't know what happened there. That was a great challenge. Edwards pops this one in. Fofana's there. Over. Maddison off for Gomez. I'm just going to do it based on fitness. Gomez on, whips it across. Paddy Shields at the back post. Oh, it's gone in. It was initially saved. I thought that was it. It was going over, but somehow the ball just trajectoried into the far post. I might want to see that one again. I'm going to see it again. That's how the game works. But Gomez, Paddy Shield. It's a nice little save. It looks like he's palmed it over, but it's gone backwards. And it's 3-0 Sheffield Porto. I'm about to take the other goal scorer off at this stage, but I don't know. There's no one on the bench. I mean, Caicedo maybe? He's not great over that side, but I've already taken Maddison off. He's the only other player who can play on the left. Caicedo comes forward. A 3-0, I feel like I don't need to bother changing the inside inverted winger position. Burge has another long-range effort. Now it's Marcus Edwards' turn. I think we've got enough right wingers. We don't need to change him. Gagliardini's been a bit rubbish again. I don't know what's wrong with Gagliardini at the moment. Caicedo drags it wide. I thought he was going to cross it for Calvert-Lewin there. Can we get the ball to Calvert-Lewin? Can we get him a goal, please? He's on a 7.3. Has he assisted? No, I think he's on a 7.3 just because. I mean, Calvert-Lewin finishes on 7.4 despite not scoring. It was a good performance all round, really, apart from Gagliardini, who was on a 6.6. Like, genuinely the only player below a 7. I mean, that was fantastic. Outstretched arms. Magnificent. 3-0 Sheffield United versus Porto. Should have scored that brilliant run, though. PSV did do Leipzig. That's fantastic news. However, PSG did best Madrid, and I don't know what the better result is there. We do have Atalanta next, who did do the business over Borussia Dortmund. Again, I don't know who's better. They are 8th in Serie A. At first glance, it does seem like a slightly different Atalanta side. There's a lot of names there I don't recognise for being Atalanta players. Intriguingly, they've signed Ruslan at left back, which is who they signed on my stream save where I'm managing Napoli, because I signed their left back as Napoli. So where has Gosens gone here? He's gone to Lazio. So Gosens has moved internally again, and they've picked up Ruslan. Fascinating similarity there. 2 assists for Edwards. Lovely performance. As for when I see you again, I'll probably just do both Atalanta games in the same episode and skim over the Southampton match in between. So until then, thank you for watching. Ta-ra.